What's up, Hambone here, and I am bringing you the Last of Us multiplayer video, and the topic of today's video is how to be more effective with the hunting rifle, and to an extent, the El Diablo and the military sniper in this game. Before I get into any of that, first, I do want to say there is no actual way for me to just outrightly improve your accuracy. I can give you tips on how to improve your accuracy and be more accurate with the weapon, and how to get shots on target quicker and stuff. But I cannot just outrightly just tell you something and it'll make your accuracy go up immediately. That comes from game time, gameplay, and game time experience, and that's something that I can't just tell you and it'll happen. That comes from you using the weapon a lot. But also, I also want to apologize for not posting a video yesterday. I had a test I had to take care of that I completely forgot about, and I would have told y'all in Tuesday's video that I did not have anything to be able to put up Wednesday because I had to take a test. But that's why there wasn't any videos up yesterday, and it kind of breaks my Monday through Friday. I try to post a video every Monday through Friday trend that I try to do. But there you go, things happen sometimes, and I just thought y'all should know. Now, in this video, things I'm going to go over to more or less help you with this weapon in particular, the hunting rifle, is I'm going to be going over things from weapon sway, over talking to things like what's better. Is it better to quick scope, more or less do a quick scope with this weapon, or to hard aim, and then the last thing I'm going to go over is a particular shot that a lot of you Gears of War fans should be very familiar with, and it is a very helpful tool. I did not come up with it. It's been in the Gears of War scene for a long time, and it is a very effective tool when using sniper rifles, and I'm going to tell y'all what it is if you don't already know. So, that being said, the first thing I want to show off with this weapon is the weapon sway. And you'll notice, right now I do not have the perk sharpshooter on, by the way, and you'll notice that the weapon sway is actually not random in this game. It stays a particular pattern every time, and that is a figure 8. Now, if you notice, it is moving not too fast for weapon sway, back and forth, but it is moving. But the cool thing is that it does keep this pattern, and so therefore it does. It is easy to predict where it's going to move. And this way, like if you know it's getting ready to move down when you're aiming to the right, you can kind of raise it up just a little bit with your finger, and it will not be as bad when it moves down. So just remember that the weapon sway on this gun is always a figure 8. Now, two ways to actually help with this weapon sway is the sharpshooter perk, and it will reduce it. It will reduce the speed of it every time you go up in a sharpshooter perk tier, and it will decrease the size of the figure 8 itself by a little bit every time you go up in a tier of sharpshooter perk. So now I am going to show you the different weapon sways, patterns, and how they differ in speed and size really quickly with each sharpshooter perk on, just so you can get a feel for it. But yeah, I'm going to cut to that now, but right now remember this is with no sharpshooter perk on at all. Alright, here we are with sharpshooter 1 on, and this reduces the weapon sway by 25%, and you should already notice a huge difference between this and without it. The size of the weapon sway pattern is actually much smaller now, and it isn't moving quite as fast. It might look like it's moving faster, but that is because the weapon sway size of the pattern has actually been made smaller. So the red dot, the middle of the reticle, actually doesn't have as far as move. So it does look faster. It actually is slowed down just a tiny bit. But the main thing with weapon sway 1, sharpshooter 1, is that the weapon sway is actually the pattern of it is reduced in a lot of size. But let's go to weapon sharpshooter 2. Alright, and here we are with sharpshooter 2. And if you look and you notice the pattern itself, the pattern itself this time might be a tad smaller. I don't think it is. I think it's the same size as it is with sharpshooter 1. But the speed of the pattern has actually been reduced. Just a little bit, but it has been reduced just enough to where it will give you a little bit more of an edge. The perk says an overall sway reduction of 37%, so I don't know where those percents are coming from altogether as far as size of the pattern and speed are, but the pattern itself it looks about the same as Sharpshooter 1 size, but it is much slower. So let's go on over to Sharpshooter 3. Alright, and here is Sharpshooter 3, and as you'll notice, the weapon sway pattern speed this time has been reduced dramatically. The actual size of the weapon sway this time, I still think that the size itself doesn't reduce anymore from any tiers of Sharpshooter, but the speed itself of the pattern is definitely reduced in this one compared to the other two. And one other advantage of Sharpshooter 3 is, and it's actually a huge advantage, I don't know why they only increased the perk cost of Sharpshooter 3 by 1 point from 2. It should be 6 points. Sharpshooter 3 is amazing. But the damage wobble reduction is also 65%. I just thought I'd throw that out there, which is just massive, because it jumps up 30% from Sharpshooter 2. But that's a side note. That's actually getting off topic of the video. But as you'll notice, the weapon sway speed is actually much slower this time. And when you're using these weapons, I highly recommend you get used to these pattern and then used to the speed of one of the ways of using the gun. Whether you do it without Sharpshooter and you get used to that big pattern and that relatively fast speed, or if you get used to maybe Sharpshooter 3 with the very small pattern and the slow speed. Get used to the movement of it, so that way if you do have to aim and aim down sights for a while, you can actually know how much it's going to move and how quickly it's going to move in that direction when you're aiming. Just a tip, and that should help you. But if you don't have time to really memorize the speed or the pattern of it, maybe you don't play the game that much, just know that it does move, but there is a pattern to it. So don't be surprised when it changes direction, because you shouldn't be, because there is a pattern there. But that aside, the first tip I actually have, besides going over the weapon sway, for actually being more effective with this weapon is simply this, and that is, don't be afraid to take shots. Now, I'm not saying let's pretend this pole is a person, and as soon as you zoom in, you happen to be aiming to the left of them for a second, and you shoot the what is that, soda machine? Yeah, and you shoot the soda machine. Don't do that. But don't be afraid to, let's say you happen to just be aiming down sights right here for whatever reason, and a person comes running through there, and you don't want to take the shot because you think you might miss. If a person comes running through there and you just happen to be aiming down sights, pull the trigger when they get close to your reticle if you think you can get it on them. Like, don't be afraid to take that shot. And let's say you see someone just running across like a gap right here. Don't be afraid to take that shot. Don't be afraid because someone's moving quickly not to fire at them if you don't think you can hit the shot. Headshots in this game are not that difficult to get, and just remember to just try and fire just a little bit right before their head to make up for that lag. Not like, if that cabinet in the middle right there was their head, to fire like right here, but fire your gun like right in front of it, like right there, and you should more or less get a headshot every time to make up for the lag. And that's actually the main tip I can give you more than anything. If you take anything from this video, take this. Do not be afraid to take shots. This is a game. You don't get penalized for missing a shot. This isn't some scoring gun competition. This is The Last of Us. Take your shots. You can always get more ammo, whether by buying it or getting it from supply crates. So make sure that you take your shots when you get an opportunity. Don't be afraid to do it, and make sure you take them. That is the first and probably the most important thing I can say. Now, going on to the next thing, which is quick scoping versus hard scoping in this game. And quick scoping in this game is more or less pretty slow when you don't have the hunting rifle upgraded. You do zoom in faster when you have it upgraded, but as you can see, it's actually pretty slow because you have to actually wait for the reticle itself to pop up. But in my personal opinion, is it better to hard aim like this and just hold it there, or to quickly aim in? I prefer to do that quick scope pretty much. I know it's not a quick scope because you're not zooming in fast enough, but that's what I'm going to call it. I like to quickly zoom in and then boom, take my shot. So I don't like to sit here and aim at someone and wait for them to pop up. I like to wait for them to pop up first, I aim out, and then take my shot. That's how I like to play the game when I use this weapon more than most of the time. And I find it that when I do that, when you hard aim with this weapon, you can sometimes, like that weapon sway, even though it's not noticeable too much with the sharpshooter 3-0, it still is there. And you might find yourself more or less worrying about the weapon sway and trying to keep it there on target. Whereas with you zoom, if you just do that type of quick scope, you don't really have to worry about the weapon sway, because if you quick scope quick enough, you can just zoom in on target and fire. But I don't know, I guess that's more or less personal preference, but I find it better to quick scope in this game because you don't have to worry about that weapon sway. But that aside, there are some tips I can give you as far as taking shots, and that is a particular type of shot that I was going over earlier, and that is the sweep shot. That is what it's referred to in Gears of War. And if you don't know what the sweep shot is, it's when you're aiming down sights. You can rather do this from the quick scope thing, or you can do this when you're just aiming down sights regular. And the sweep shot is this: if that pole right there is the person, it is more or less sweeping your reticle across the pole and firing the gun when it gets to the pole. So it looks something like this. That's a slowed down version. I missed right there, and I'm actually out of ammo. So let me cut the video real quick, and I will be back in a second. Alright, and I'm back, and like I was saying, the sweep shot. And you might want to practice it moving slow at first, but I find it's better to just do this shot going full speed if you can. So it's just going to be like, and as you can see, I was on target. And it's just going to be that over and over again. Kind of off right there, but you get the point. This shot is pretty effective. It's the reason that I find it to be effective in this game is that trying to just get the reticle on their head and stop it there can sometimes be difficult to do. But if you do a sweep shot, you just gotta worry about crossing the reticle across their head and hoping you pull the trigger at the right second for when the reticle crosses their head. So, like I said, this shot can be done whether you be hard aiming or you be more or less doing that quick scope. So, the sweep shot is a very effective tool in this game. It is from Gears of War. It's been in Gears of War for ages. It might have been in some games before Gears of War, but that was the first time I ever heard of it. But it is a very effective shot, and it prevents you from having to worry about aiming too much and have to worry about too much about your aim. So you can just take your shot, get it out of the way, and go on to the next thing. So there you have it. That's about all I really have to say as far as tips for using the hunting rifle is concerned. But as a quick recap, make sure that you familiarize yourself with the weapon sway. You make sure that you take shots when you get opportunities to them. Find what works better for you between quick scoping and hard scoping. And try and familiarize yourself with doing a shot similar to the sweep shot, because it is very effective and it does take the weapon sway out of the picture sometimes. But I'm now going to put some clips up. I probably won't put too many because this video is already running pretty long as it is right now. This clip in particular, I picked it. I actually was going to pick quite a couple, but this clip has about everything I want to show. It shows hard scoping, it shows a quick scope, and it does show a bit of a sweep shot in there at a point. So this clip has the entire package. But as usual, if you like this video, thought it was helpful, be sure to give the video a like. And if you like the last multiplayer videos, be sure to subscribe to my channel, because I try to put them out Monday through Friday. Sometimes I do end up skipping a day, but I try not to. And as usual, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.